Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, 84-year-old missing woman out of Tucson, Arizona. We are at past now the 100-day mark, and still today, we have no idea where she is at. Reports are coming out that the sheriff is not talking to Nancy Guthrie's family. Why? And acknowledges frustration, according to reports from Brian Enton. We're going to go through all of that and a lot more on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face.
Sing it with me.
They call me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's the twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a
East
restless
County.
world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me I've been whispered about and written off, judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curves, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Let's hit it.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch.
Greetings, everyone. Victoria Day.
Coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Welcome and thank you. Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Happy Friday. Thank you, Lord. Good to see you all. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight we are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, and I already screwed up my intro. I have a flow, and I already screwed it up. Thank you all so much for joining me. Today is May 15th, 2026. It is currently 9:17 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Yeah. Happy Victoria Day to my Canadians. I don't does does people in the UK celebrate Victoria Day? I mean, we're Victoria. That's probably what it's about, right? Victoria, like the Queen Victoria, who I'm obsessed with, by the way. I've watched like every documentary on Queen Victoria. Hi, Justin, mods in chat, missed your lives. Oh God, or goodness. I hope are you getting better? That's bad. Good to see you all, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We got a lot to talk about tonight in the Nancy Guthrie case, and there are reports that the sheriff is not talking to the Guthrie family, acknowledges frustration according to reports. Brian Inton is reporting on that, and we'll go over that and a whole lot more. Also, why is Mr. Z being so quiet now? He was up doing, live streams and all that, and now it's crickets since we asked, if he would like to, clear himself up to the public and all that. And so we're going to talk about some of that as well. Guys, before we get started, if you would be so kind and do me a big favor and please hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate it. Also, consider sharing the live out. Hit that share button, copy that link, and drop it in any of your favorite social media. Also, if you would consider hyping this video after the live stream or on the replay crew, hey guys, good to see you. Please do that. You get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. And the more you participate in chat, the more points you rack up. And it's like a big super thumbs up, if you will. You have to do it on a mobile device, a phone, a tablet, any mobile device works. Hello, Piece of Jesus. Good to see you. Tony, there's the I see you. Miss Shirley, Wendy, good to see you. Piece of Jesus, good to see you. Bo, hello. Pam, Tony, Nice Marie, good to see you. Darling, Lori, hello. Don, bonjour. Oui. Tina, good to see you, friend. Christy, Giggles, Remy, how you doing, darling? Tony, good to see you. Christy, Sharon, Jennifer, your tattoo's beautiful. Daphne showed me earlier. I think Jennifer, she got. I hope I'm not. I hope you don't mind, Jennifer. She got a tattoo today, and it's got some of the words of the intro. I think she got it tattooed on her, and that's part of it. So cute. Who else do we got up in here? Work, good to see you, my friend. Carol, hello. Mama's the bomb. CZ, bonjour. Who else? Tina, good to see everyone. Tony, hello. Good to see you guys. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me scroll down here for a second before we get started. Who dat? IGGY. Good to see you, my dear. Every time I see your screen name, I think of Iggy Azalea song. Wendy, good to see you. Yeah, it's really cute. It's yeah. Okay. All right, so let's get on it here. So Brian Inton is reporting some very interesting things coming out I think these are reports are originally, let me make that clear. The reports are coming originally from People magazine. And why would you guys think that? I mean, like, not why would you think that? Why do you guys think that they are not, Sheriff Nanos is not speaking to the family? Like, that's a little, why? You would think he would be keeping in touch with the family, right? I'm wondering if there's some, I'm wondering if the family's unhappy, or is it, they don't want to tell them anything that's going on, which they're not really going to say much anyways, or is just, Sheriff Nanos a lame duck, which I think we all kind of know that already, you know what I mean? So let's see here. Guys, make sure you sub up to Brian Ensign if you haven't yet already. We love Brian. He's got really good hair, doesn't he? He can wear the gray and the white hair so good. There's people that can just wear like gray and white hair really good, and he's just one of them. Like, if I had gray hair or white hair, I would look really terrible, probably. I'd be livid if I were Nancy's family. Nanos must be hiding, says JM. I mean, he certainly has a lot on his plate now. Yeah, he had a lot on his plate when this case started, but now that it seems like everyone's coming out and saying, what they went through. Yeah. Guthrie's can't save him like maybe he thought they could. I don't know, Ruby. I don't know. Yes, he has great hair, Clutch. You have beautiful. Oh, thank you, my dear. Appreciate you very, very much. Okay, let me give Brian the credit where credit is absolutely due. Here we go. Brian Ensign. Link is provided in the description. Make sure you sub up to Brian if you haven't yet already. Brian works really hard, and hold on, what's going on? Wait a second. Is my mobile live right now? It says it's not live for me, but okay, now it does. YouTube. I don't know if it's YouTube or StreamYard. I think there must be a mediator between Nanu, and family. You would think they would have like maybe a victim's advocate or something. It's live. Okay. Hey, Brenda. Good to see you. Hot damn. Lisa. Good to see everyone coming. Hey, Green Eyes. It's working. Okay. It said on my end it was just nothing, and then it showed me that it was working. Okay, so let me fast forward this part right here, and we're going to get started on this. Guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, double tap that screen. What's odd is saying that the FBI is in contact with them, but the assessor got scolded. I'm confused. A lot of people are, JM. There's just no sense in him acting like this. Also going to get into some other names that have been thrown out there, if you will. And one of these, you guys kept sending me this video, and I was digging into things earlier today. And this guy allegedly knows Luke. I don't know if they're like friends or they're acquaintances or what, but we're going to get into that, which is very, very interesting. Nanos is how damage control more than investigation. Yeah, I think he's trying to save his own ass, in my opinion. Oh, that person was scolded for talking to the FBI. That Nanos. Yeah. You just can't even wrap your head around it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even wrap your head around that there is this sheriff who says, "You're creating more work for me by giving the FBI what they want." Make that make sense. Hey, Robin, Tina, good to see you. All right, let's get it started.
This episode, there's a new interview with the sheriff where he shares some new information. First of all, he says that he's no longer communicating with the Guthrie family directly, which I found to be interesting. Also, why he still has hope in the DNA evidence and what for him would make this a cold case, which is the first time I've ever heard him really talk about the possibility of a cold case. I'm going to get into all of it.
I don't think this will be a cold case. I really don't. I mean, I don't think it will be a cold case particularly if I just don't see how which he said yesterday, Nanos, and again, it's Nanos, but he said yesterday that obviously they have information that they can't give us, and they've got to have at least, which there's only so many ways you can go out of that neighborhood, right? They've got to have that vehicle. We don't know exactly all they have. We know that they towed Annie's car. They towed the Range Rover. They looked at Carlos's cars. But there could be other vehicles as well. You know what I mean? Hey, Miss Dolores. Good to see you, darling. Thank you so very much for your support, my dear. I love you all. We love you too, Miss Dolores. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for your support. Thank you, dear. The county official was just doing her job. How does Nanos have it? He doesn't. He doesn't. But, you shouldn't feel like you're getting in trouble for doing your job, right? So, hey, Laura, thank you so much, darling. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Good to see you, my favorite guy. How you doing? Thank you so much. Good to see you, Miss Lauren. Thank you. YouTube won't let me use the emoji again. What is wrong with YouTube? Honest to God, over 100 days, Justin. I know. But this case might go over a year. It might. And in my opinion, if the person's out of the country, it might go longer than that. I don't know. I'm just about done with that sheriff. He's full of BS. That's an understatement. And I don't like to talk about law enforcement. I really don't. I think, most police officers are very good people. They just want to help people and they want to go home to their family. But, just like with anything else, there is lame ducks out there, if you will. And sadly, it's on a very, very, for any family really, but, a high profile case like this. So it hurts that much more. He's a guy that thinks, yes, his ego, his self, I hope they are checking into his fine. Well, you know something? I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen, Ice Marie. I really do. Hey, Carol. Thank you so much, love. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for your support, Miss Carol. Cute little picture. Thank you so much, Miss Carol. If you received that membership, make sure you thank Carol. Appreciate you, my dear, very much. Oh, I can't believe he scolded the person. Yeah, he sure did. Angel kisses. Good to see you, darling. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much, love. Emin says he had no business making that call to the clerk and taking in patronizing tone. Yes, done with yes. He's got an ego. A bad one, it seems.
In this episode of Brian Ensign Investigates.
All right.
Hey guys. So I want to go through some of these new things that Sheriff Nanos said. He was speaking to People Magazine.
Brian's getting buzzed.
I actually know the reporter. I met her when I was out there. She was also out there for a couple weeks right after Nancy went missing.
Thank you, darling.
And some of this stuff is interesting. I mean, there's some new developments here, and that's the thing about Sheriff Nanos that I've found is, when you.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Dolores. Very kind of you. Tony, I agree. I think Nancy would be, this is the thing. Excuse me. I don't know if she would have been found by now, in my opinion, but what I can say is I think we would be ahead for certain, right? There was no need to clear the home that quickly. There was things that they blundered with that mat, um, possibly even the blood on the outside. Certainly, I mean, it that piece of that shirt that was out that they just laid on a rock when they were doing the dog searching for Nancy. It was Nancy's shirt. It had her scent on it, and they left it outside. And that just shows, in my opinion, sloppiness, right? Carelessness of how it's being ran. And Sheriff Nanos needs to just get over it and give it to the FBI.
Can talk to him if he'll answer his phone or whatever. Sometimes he'll just start talking and he'll start saying things, and you're like, oh, wow, some of this stuff is new, which seems like is kind of what happened here with this People magazine interview. So I'm going to get
I think he just rambles and he
to
doesn't
Morgan
realize
Wright,
what he says.
former investigator and law enforcement expert, in a minute to kind of go over what some of this means. But let me walk you through some of this. This stood out to me the most. According to People magazine and their discussion with the sheriff, he is no longer directly communicating with the Guthrie family and says those conversations are being handled by the FBI, which is...
You know something? The FBI, or we don't know if it's why they're not, he's not speaking to the Guthrie family, but the Guthrie family may just say, we just want to speak to the FBI now. We don't want to speak to you anymore. Or could be the other way around. It might be neither. But I find it very interesting nonetheless.
Interesting, because remember, initially, it appeared that he was having communication with Savannah and with the Guthrie family, and he is technically in charge of the investigation still as the sheriff in Pima County. Remember, it was never handed over to the FBI. So the fact that he is acknowledging that he is no longer directly communicating with the Guthrie family and says those conversations are being handled by the FBI, there's been a lot of curiosity. Is Savannah Guthrie, are the Guthries getting frustrated with the sheriff based on all of this reporting that
how could they not be frustrated with the sheriff, right? Like, how could you not be by this point? This guy has been truly the laughingstock of sheriffs in the country for the past 100+ days, almost from the jump. Like, I really gave this guy credit in the beginning. Like, I thought, well, the way he speaks, he's probably just nervous. He's not used to these cameras. It's different when you're in front of a camera and you're a one-man band and you got to do it all. But with his past and knowing things that he hadn't done and the way he investigated this in the early days, his lead of homicide is never solved a homicide, and the senior staff members, there's 3 years. So come on.
It's been out there that I've done, that's been out there, mistakes that have been made. Could they be frustrated, or were they still talking to him and happy behind the scenes? And it sounds like they're, according to the sheriff, no longer directly communicating with the sheriff. So I found that to be very interesting, and that is something new that I didn't know. He said, quote, and this is the sheriff, "The public is frustrated, even the Guthrie family." So they're also acknowledging that the Guthrie family is frustrated, which, how can you blame them? I mean, I think that even though they haven't said that outright, how could they not be frustrated? I mean, it's now been more than 3 months, and they still have no resolution. They have no idea where Nancy is. And at the same time, there's sort of this controversy that continues to develop around the sheriff throughout this whole thing. So there he's acknowledging the public is frustrated, even the Guthrie family is frustrated. Every passing second must feel like 100 days because they don't know. What matters is moving forward carefully so we don't make any mistakes or falsely.
Yeah. He doesn't. I think Don says, I think Brian has only a couple of interviews with Nanos. Then all of a sudden, Nanos quit talking to everyone. It's like he wouldn't shut up, and now he won't say anything. it's like extreme one way or another. I mean, he did that, I think it was the second or third press conference. And the day before, he said, I'm not going to come back here unless something big happens. But felt like he was kind of enjoying the camera, maybe. And the next day, or maybe it was the day after that, he comes and I was like, guys, it's got to be something big. It's got to be something big, because he said he wasn't coming back until something was about ready to break. It was nothing. It was literally zilch. I think he is a very politically motivated individual, and he considered himself on their side. He wasn't looking at the case. He was looking at who they are. Maybe.
Accuse somebody or make a bad arrest.
Hold on.
Interesting you said that,
Hold
because
on.
remember when I was
want to back this up because I interrupted him, because this is a statement that he
sheriff throughout this whole thing.
Listen
So
to this.
there he's acknowledging the public is frustrated, even the Guthrie family is frustrated. Every passing second must feel like 100 days because they don't know. What matters is moving forward carefully so we don't make any mistakes or falsely accuse somebody or make a bad arrest. Interesting.
Well, we can talk about the warrants that they did, right? With Carlos, with the dailies. Were those credible? Were any of those credible? I think so, in my opinion. I don't know how, but I do believe that they know a lot more than we do. But I think that they're building something.
You said that because remember when I was there were 2 times where they didn't specifically falsely accuse someone, but they detained people, the time in Rio Rico and then the time close to Nancy's house. So he's saying that they don't want to make mistakes like that again, I guess. But interesting that he's saying that even the Guthrie family is frustrated. That's new. In terms of DNA, this is new. This is what he said. I know we have DNA that is unknown who the contributor or depositor is, but I think they're getting closer to finding out who that was, adding that he has confidence in our lab. So the fact that...
Okay. Do you guys think that they know who, or in the Nancy Guthrie case? Put a 1 in chat for yes, a 2 in chat for no, a 3 in chat for unsure. It will automatically add it to this poll right up here. So these are very interesting words that he's saying. This is what he said. I know we have DNA that is
known who the contributor or depositor is, but...
Okay, they know they know that they have DNA of the contributor or the depositor is.
I think they're getting closer to finding out who that was.
Think they're getting closer to finding out who that was.
Adding that he has confidence in our lab. So the fact that he said that they are getting closer to finding out who that was, that's optimistic, that's promising.
Yeah. He said this the last few days as well, right? That he believes they're getting closer. It's just, when's the arrest coming down? Are they going to try to find Nancy first before they do that arrest? Or are they going to do the arrest and see if the person will talk, or see if they can get more out of them? And maybe that leads to Nancy. Is this going to be a no body case? Which makes things even more complicated. I want Nancy. I think you're going to need a body in this case, unless they have overwhelming evidence. Because I think, again, the sheriff screwed up a lot of things, and whenever you go to court, you need overwhelming amounts of evidence, because not everything is admissible in court. They'll throw this out based upon this. They'll throw that out based upon that. So you've got to go there with more than enough. And if you don't have that, that's a problem, right? Lori said during a sit-down interview with Brian, about some of the things reported since then. He won't talk to Brian. Brian reported the truth, and no nads took offense. Well, yeah, if you don't stroke his ego, he doesn't want you. A lot of people are shipwrecked, yeah. I think her name is Cheryl McCall. Yes, Cheryl's amazing. She was on another channel, and she believes that maybe the DNA was more sinister. Really? And they are just waiting for the results of positive proof. I hope not. I don't like, if you mean like SA, I don't see that. But you never know. Hey, Deb, good to see you. Hey, Giggles. It can be circumstantial evidence, but yes, it would have to be overwhelming. A chain of custody better be right. Yeah. Yep. I don't know where Canadian Cookie is. Let me see here. I hope she's okay. I need to text her.
I mean, I hope that's true behind the scenes. We know that they had the hair strand, that they were looking at the rootless hair, and that they were attempting to do genetic genealogy, investigative genetic genealogy, when they look at bigger family trees and try to narrow it down. So that's promising that he said that he thinks they're getting closer to finding out who that was. He says, when the labs tell us, hey, there's nothing else we can do, well, then maybe we've got a problem. We've got a cold case. But right now, the labs aren't telling us that.
Hold on.
Interesting.
What do you say?
The labs tell us, hey, there's nothing else we can do. Well, to find and narrow it down. Genetic genealogy, investigative genetic genealogy, when they look at bigger family trees and try to narrow it down. So that's promising that he said that he thinks they're getting closer to finding out who that was. He says, when the labs tell us, hey, there's nothing else we can do, well, then maybe we've got a problem. We've got a cold case. But right now, the labs aren't telling us that. Interesting to hear him actually say cold case, that then he believes they'd have a cold case. Gosh, I hope it doesn't get to that point. But that just goes...
I don't think it'll be a cold case. I don't think it'll be a cold case at all.
Goes back to everything that I've been reporting from my sources close to the investigation, who have said that, you know, they're waiting on this DNA, but there's really not a lot that they're...
I think once the DNA is done, once they have all the DNA in the boot, so to speak, I believe that's probably when after they'll do an arrest, hopefully, as long as they have that, and they've been, you know, working on building a case, or they may start building it then. We just don't know.
Going on right now. They don't have a suspect. They don't have any solid leads. And he's kind of acknowledging that right now. They're waiting on the DNA. And
I think that they're trying to not spook a certain person or individuals.
If that doesn't work out, then maybe we've got a problem. We've got a cold case, he said. So sort of good news in a way, that they are still waiting on the DNA, folks, and that they haven't ruled anything out, and the labs aren't telling them that they've got a problem, but also kind of not the best news if you think about it from the perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, that bone that they found the other day is prehistoric, so they say. So, I mean, I didn't think it was Nancy's to begin with, to be honest.
Perspective of what if they aren't able to get anything off that hair, or if they have other samples that we don't know about, does that mean that they then have a cold case based on what the sheriff said?
Yep.
Digital evidence, he says this includes thousands and thousands of videos, digitally camera footage, he says, at the center of the investigation, an enormous catalog of surveillance footage from intersections, neighborhoods, businesses, home security systems. He said, this is a quote, there's thousands and thousands of video out there from intersections and ring cameras that we have to catalog. Maybe it's all the white trucks are over there, all the red sedans are over here. You've got to have it so when you do find a suspect, hey, the suspect is John Doe, we got him, now we'll go say, well, what else do we know about John Doe? So that's not entirely new. We knew that they were looking through all the traffic cameras, and apparently they're cataloging all the vehicles. So even though they don't know who the suspect is or what vehicle the suspect was driving or suspects, it sounds like he's saying once they figure that out, hopefully when they figure that out, they'll be able to quickly go back and identify some of these cars on.
Kelly, you know, there's what they say right now. just 100 days into it, and you're like, just 100 days. 100 days, in a lot, it's not really that long. You want it, it's great when they're able to make an arrest and very, very quickly. But they got to have more. They got to.
These
There's
traffic
just no
cams
way.
around the time that Nancy went missing.
There's just no way.
He also talked about
There's no way that they can just, in my opinion, go do a warrant at Carlos's house and a warrant at the Daly's home and the Range Rover and even, Tommaso and Annie's over and over again, and that not have a lead somewhere, in my opinion. Which, remember, when they say that they're doing testing, excuse me, when they say that they're doing testing, we're thinking about just at Nancy's, right? But you damn right that they took stuff out of the Daly's home, right? Out of that Range Rover. They're testing that too. They're testing a lot. They're testing things that was in Nancy's home. They're going to test things that was in the Daly's home. They're going to compare them. And and I'm sure that they're doing testing on a lot of things that we have absolutely no idea about right now. And it's not, it's not a homicide until it's a homicide, until the clock starts. Whenever that comes, they've already been building their case while they're saying that it's, we have no idea who it is.
false arrests. Nobody wants to, this is a quote, nobody wants to make a false statement. Nobody wants to falsely accuse someone. At some point in time, someday, we may have somebody in a courtroom that deserves his or her right to a fair and impartial trial.
Okay, he's saying this very strategically right now. And this is smart of the sheriff, I will say, right? He's saying, listen, we're not blaming anybody right now. We're testing whatever the labs, come back. We'll go from there. We don't want to, rush to judgment, more or less. We don't want to, just point fingers. And they deserve a fair trial. Once all of that is done, he's really being very measured here.
The way you get that is through a fair and impartial investigation. My team, I've said all along, they're going to solve this. I fully 100% believe that. Again, I just think back to Rio Rico and the other bust near Nancy's house when, remember that federal search warrants had people in custody and that didn't pan out. So it sounds like they don't want that to happen again. And by the way, we still have never seen that federal search warrant, which I'm still waiting to get my hands on to figure out why they were able to do that. What sort of evidence did they have to connect Nancy Guthrie to those folks? Because apparently none of it panned out, Seems like that had nothing to do with the investigation. This is interesting. He also talked about FBI 10.
I mean, again, the one that confuses me the most is Carlos, right? And Sheriff Nanos spoke on this, and he said that, I can't remember how he put it, but he was like, I don't remember how he put it, so I don't want to say, but more like they were in the area multiple times, if you will. It seems like Carlos should remember that, in my opinion. Again, I don't believe Carlos is this guy whatsoever, but there could be something there. There might be. Who knows? Dailies, in my opinion, I do believe that they will be back.
Which has been something I've talked a lot about on my podcast and on News Nation. Remember
Thank you, Deb.
From the beginning, I've been reporting that there was tension between the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, and then you had Kash Patel, the FBI director, coming out.
This is why Nanos won't interview with Brian, in my opinion, because he's telling the truth. There's been tension between the FBI and Sheriff Nanos, and he doesn't
But in
like that.
saying that they were kept out of the investigation for the first 4 days, that the sheriff wanted to send the DNA to his private lab in Florida that they use and not to Quantico, which, by the way, if you go back to my episode from yesterday, Dr. Hines, one of the county supervisors, said he wishes that they would have gone with the FBI just because of the money aspect, that he believes that the Nancy Guthrie case has already cost the county $1 million. And
what did I tell you guys? That's what I said. Like, why would you not, Nanos? They're the best. It's cost you nothing. They take it from there. They can test it faster than anybody and probably better than anybody. Not that other private labs can't do amazing things, because the lab in Florida is amazing. They've solved countless high-profile cases, but that's not the point.
if they had just let the FBI take the DNA and handle the investigation, it would have saved the county a lot of money, which is something that I hadn't heard discussed before. So he said it would have been better for the investigation because it's the FBI and they have more experience, but it also would have been better for the county because they would have saved a ton of money, $1 million, he's saying, if it had gone to the FBI. But this is what Sheriff Nano said in this new interview about FBI tension. He says he denied the claim of tension between the FBI and his agency. He says coordination between his officers and the FBI began soon after learning of Nancy's disappearance. He said Director Patel has his right to his opinions, adding that he believes some remarks were factually inaccurate. He says the FBI was with us day one. We've always had a working relationship. He also disputed claims that investigators mishandled the scene or delayed search efforts in the critical early hours of the Guthrie investigation. Again, this is according to his interview with People magazine. The plane was started immediately.
Hold on, what?
Were factually inaccurate.
Hold on.
After learning of Nancy's disappearance, he said Director Patel has his right to his opinions, adding that he believes some remarks were factually inaccurate. He says the FBI...
Well, name those facts. Name those facts, Nanos. If you believe some of the claims were factually inaccurate, say which ones, so people will know and can decide for themselves or research themselves.
I was with us day one. We've always had a working relationship. He also disputed claims that investigators mishandled the scene or delayed search efforts in the critical early hours of the Guthrie investigation. Again, this is according to his interview with People magazine. The plan was started immediately, he said, referring to aerial... I'm sorry, the plane was started immediately. Nano said, referring to aerial search operations. They found blood, search and rescue, looked at the scene and realized it seemed suspicious. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. So he's saying that they did search initially with the plane and then realized that it was suspicious because they found the blood and then moved on to, realizing that this...
When did they find the blood, though? Right? They were looking with the plane and then they found the blood. Maybe I'm just a little judgmental with this, but you would think that they would really have looked over that property real damn good. Front, back, sides, apartments, garage, interior, the pool, the backyard, before they would have put a plane up. But that's just me.
Was a criminal matter. So it's interesting that the sheriff is speaking out. Hey guys, I'm always on the go. I don't usually have much time for cooking, and that is why personal info the client now where I've heard that it's got and get your recently. My sources have told me, there's this task force now where they are working together. And it seems like the FBI, even though the sheriff is technically in charge, it seems like the FBI has more control than people realize. And something that makes me believe that too is this new information that the sheriff isn't even talking to the Guthries, that it's the FBI talking to the Guthries, which...
Yeah, and I really hope that's the case, right? I hope it's the case that the FBI is really doing the heavy lifting in this now, because hopefully they're able, to provide more answers. And Nanos kind of separates himself the way he speaks anyways, because he's like, I've got good guys working on the case. They do this, they do that. Even though he's technically the head of the sheriff's, he's the sheriff of the county. I really hope that it really is the FBI. No, he's not talking to the family. The FBI is the one that is speaking to the family. I also wonder, did and I this might eventually come out. We'll see. So right now I'm just going to say I wonder if the Guthrie family has asked Nanos to let the FBI do more, and basically take the lead, if you will. And that's why Nanos might be a little bit irritated, could be, allegedly, with the Guthrie family, even, because you step on his pride a little bit. If the military is involved, this changes this case. I want to know why they stopped. I don't know. I wish they would let others.
If the sheriff was really in charge of the whole thing and had all this, special information, you'd think that the Guthries would be wanting to talk to the sheriff. But no, according to him, they're now only talking to the FBI. So I want to bring in Morgan right now. Super smart guy, investigator. I've had him on the podcast before, and just a law enforcement expert to kind of go through some of these new developments and see what he thinks about it. Thank you for joining me, Morgan. I really appreciate it. It's been a while since I've talked to you, so I have kind of a lot of questions because you're up to speed on all this Guthrie stuff.
I like this guy. I really like this guy, Morgan. He's pretty solid.
The first thing I wanted to ask you about, though, there's this new interview with the sheriff with People Magazine, and there are a couple things that stood out to me. I'm curious your take on. First of all, Sheriff Nanos said that he is no longer directly communicating with the Guthrie family and says those conversations are now being handled by the FBI. And then he said, quote, "The public is frustrated, even the Guthrie family." He's technically still in charge of the investigation. I mean, technically his office is still in charge. And what do you make of the fact that he's not communicating with the family anymore?
They may have even said, like, the FBI, okay, let us take the lead, but not say we're taking the lead, even though we're doing the legwork behind the scenes, and you can have the credit. Let's just get this solved. FBI is not in it for the ego.
Yeah, until it becomes until there's a federal predicate, or a nexus, and the FBI, for example, if she was kidnapped and we knew she was taken across state lines, that makes it a federal investigation. In my experience, and Brian, this is going on over 40 years, it's unusual for the originating agency, the investigative agency who has originating authority, which the sheriff does, not to be in communication with the victim's family. It would be.
But everything about this investigation, as you and I know, is not ordinary, right? This is a very unordinary case.
Hard to figure out, well, why, how come? The record, there's enough out there on the record, as they say, there's enough in the interviews. You can see stuff to where it's kind of like, this may be in an advanced stage. Maybe there's something going on. We don't.
I think he looks good as a silver fox, Deb. I think Brian looks good as a silver fox. I think he can pull it off, in my opinion.
Know about, which clearly falls within the FBI's swim lane. This is what we do. We do this really well. I have no idea what it is, but let's say it's an advanced hostage negotiation or an advanced negotiation. That's clearly something. But to not have any contact is something that I think that's a question that ought to be answered. The question is, you say you don't have contact. The question is why?
Right. Yeah. I've wondered, and I obviously tried with my coverage, try to be really respectful to the family and think about what they're going through. But I have wondered sort of behind the scenes, like, with all this reporting about the sheriff and mistakes made and all the drama with him and the board of supervisors, they must know about it. And it's just sort of a distraction from, Nancy being missing.
Yeah, the cases I worked, you always wanted to make sure that you had contact with the family. When I was a detective working, I remember a homicide case. Guy was run over 8 times with his own car, drug deal gone bad. Yeah, shouldn't have been out there, but we advised him. Here's what happened. We just served a search warrant. We made some arrests. You always want to be the person that breaks the news to them. You never want them finding out about it from another source. And look, reporters got to do their job. But it's like you and I've talked about, and I've told other people, look, when you don't feed the beast, and the beast is media, they will go out and find things to report on because it's a newsworthy story. So I think
that's right.
That's just one of the first rules of
they feed us or we find it.
Investigations and working with the family is that maintain constant contact, always keep open lines of communication, because guess what? At some point, you're going to need their help. Let's say that a case is made. You're going to need their help in building the case, testifying, potentially providing evidence. So you always want to make sure you're on good terms with them.
The DNA I've reported, there's a strand of hair that was found that's rootless, that's now been sent to Quantico that they're trying to get DNA off of. In this new interview, he said, I know we have DNA that is unknown who the contributor or depositor is, but I think they're getting closer to finding out who that was. I have confidence in our labs. When the labs tell us, hey, there's nothing else we can do, well, then maybe we've got a problem. We've got a cold case. But right now, the labs aren't telling us that. Are you confident that they're going to get somewhere with this DNA testing? What does your gut say there?
Well, there's kind of a contradiction. On the one hand, he says 100% we're going to solve this. On the other hand, says, hey, we may not get anything from the lab and it'll be a cold case. So, it's got to be one or the other. Here's the issue, though, Brian. It goes back to, you and I have talked about this. I've talked about it, many times. It's like, it goes back to the crime scene. DNA does not come with a date and time stamp on it. You don't know when that hair was deposited or by who.
So the FBI was the one that found the hair. It wasn't Pima County. And it was, so the Pima County went in to Nancy's house in the beginning. And I guess they got what they got. And then if you remember Brian reporting very early, it was like day 3 or 4. It was pretty early in the investigation. That's when the FBI went there. And that is whenever they got this hair. So the hair could be anybody's, right? But I think they took that hair because obviously wherever it was located, I'm sure. Hopefully this guy is a very hairy dude.
We don't know by who, obviously. The fact that the crime scene was uncontrolled for a certain period of time, could that have been introduced? There's a thing, too, called Locard's evidence transfer theory, which basically says anytime you come into contact with something, you leave something and you take something. That's how touch DNA works. If you and I shook hands, I get some of your epithelial cells, skin cells. I go open a door somewhere, your DNA now is on that door, but you have to put it in context. So with this hair, when he says, hey, we're getting closer, the analysis is already done. That kind of leads to me is that they are going down the path of familial DNA or investigative genetic genealogy, that there's something being done, because that's the thing that takes time. It could be anywhere. We saw in the Kohlberger case, it took a few months. Golden State Killer case took a few months. In the case of, a lot of people don't know this case, but April Tinsley, a young girl kidnapped back in Indiana, I think it was in the late 80s, killed. The killer taunted them with message. Well, they finally got some DNA. The technology caught up. They were only one step away. The DNA led them to the brother. The brother led them to the actual killer. So sometimes you get lucky, and it's kind of like you're one step away. On this,
PGH, I think it starts with a Z. But we're going to get to another guy here in a little bit.
This though, I think there's. Again, it's the originating agency, the agency of record, which is the sheriff's office, gets to make the decisions because it's their case. But in my experience and the cases I work, man, anytime I could take advantage of somebody else's technology, especially when it's going to be a big case, and they've got the expertise. I always wanted to do, I mean, I worked with everybody from our own state labs when I was in Kansas, KBI, to the FBI lab, to Quantico, to ATF on firemark examinations, you know, ATF on bomb and arson investigations. So you always try to find who's got that expertise, and then let's use that expertise.
Are you surprised that it doesn't seem there's more items with DNA? And what does that mean? I mean, and there could be more that we just don't know about, but from my understanding, it seems like this hair is really the focus.
Yeah. So when I go back and you know, you've looked at the videos I
I
had.
think if they would have let the FBI in immediately, they would have probably maybe found more. German Shepherd Mom, also known as Miss Daphne, welcome. Thank you so much. 2 months. Bring Nancy home. Love you, darling. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Thank you so very much. Everyone was in the house, so how can say it was? Well, maybe the location of the hair where it was found. We don't know exactly where it was found, though, right?
Millions of people have looked at the videos, right? You look at the tradecraft that was done, a full face covering, ski mask. You've got a jacket covering everything, gloves, look like double gloves, right? If there was a hair there, it would have to have been on the outside of, you think it would most likely would have come from, and a logical place to come from is from the outside of that, like the ski mask or something else. Then you have a real problem, because that could have been picked up anywhere and deposited. So now you have a red herring. So we don't know what we know till we know what we don't know. It sounds corny, but it's the actual truth. We're dealing with uncertainty here. Now, uncertainty is okay, but it's got to be framed in the proper way. Is that a lot of people are saying this is the silver bullet, this will lead us to the killer. We heard that about the gloves. I think it was the New York Post. Oh, we found gloves. You know, we're watching it. And guess what? It was a nothing burger. It turned out to, as I said, and actually I was on with Elizabeth Vargas. I said, hey, look, those gloves mean absolutely nothing until they're tied to the crime scene, and they never were. So they mean nothing. And so, yeah, this is the DNA.
PGH, thank you so much, darling. Appreciate you for gifting a pearl necklace. Thank you so very much, my darling. If you received that, make sure you give our PGH a big old thank you. Thank you so much, my lovies. Good to see you, PGH. When testing a rootless hair, they have to rely on MDS, mitochondrial DNA, for the shaft. And this type, yeah, it only comes from the maternal side. Yeah, which makes it more complicated, not impossible. They can still find the person with the genealogy, but it does take more time, more money, more effort, all of that. I think, if it's the person I'm interested in, if you will, I think it'll make it's even harder, because I think this person probably doesn't have family in the United States.
It used to be, Brian, back, I hate to say back in my day, but my testimony was enough. I mean, the fact that I testified, that was evidence. Then people started watching TV, and then the perception changed. Well, you can't clear a case unless it has DNA. You actually can. It takes some work. DNA sometimes, touch DNA can absolutely be misleading. Your DNA on a doorknob that you in a building you've never been in means absolutely nothing now, because you were never there. So we have.
Yep, your DNA can get in a lot of places even you've never been, right?
Have to put everything in context. It will be interesting to see where the if that's and I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing. The investigative genetic genealogy, where they're at with that. I mean, it's at least that's a 60 to 90 day process just to get a good feel for.
And yes, Deb, we need investigative work and find her remains that will bring DNA evidence, get searches out there for remains. And here's the thing, though, right? It's been 100 days. If her remains are out there, and of course, after 100 days, there's decomposition, there's animals, and just the weather in general. DNA deteriorates. The quality of the DNA matters big time. And that's why I've always been like, why weren't they searching for Nancy more? And why are they not allowing people to really search for Nancy.
What's the landscape? Who's out there? Who's who in the zoo? Who's connected to who?
It's been a while since I've talked to you about this case. I think it's been more than a month. Where is your mind at overall? I mean, we talked last time about the possibility of, is the ransom real? Was it a burglary gone wrong? As more time has gone on, and
yeah, it will make it much more difficult if this person is doesn't have ancestry in this country. That it makes it a lot more difficult. It means that they're going to have to get his DNA some way, somehow.
I'm asking you to kind of speculate here because there's a lot we just don't know based on the evidence. But like, where's your mind at on all of this?
Well, funny you should mention that. I'm not trying to. It's not done yet, but Brian, I've taken a lot of the stuff that I've done, but it's going into a whole thing called crime reconstructed, a first principle method for criminal investigations. The thing I lead off with is the Guthrie case, and we talk about that. What are the things that are known? What are the what is known and what is knowable? But in the case of this, I go back to, it was either a burglary gone wrong or it was never a burglary, right? For a burglary to gone wrong, different skill set, different mindset. You're in there with a different mission. A burglary is about theft and removal. Kidnapping is about control. So the longer this goes on, the fact that you got a $1.2 million reward that has not moved the needle whatsoever. You look at the blood that comes out and stops at the curb. And actually, I put a little piece of analysis out.
Me too.
Probably mid-March or something. But what I wanted to address is the question of why was the guy messing with the camera? He was not concerned about being found. In fact, we have the other photo. We were trying to figure out that. I know the sheriff said one thing, FBI said another. Was it a reconnaissance video? The guy just standing there, dressed similarly, but differently, a little bit different attire.
Yeah, Joyce. Yep.
The whole purpose of removing the Ring camera, and this is what I've concluded based on looking at anything, was he disguised himself. What he could not disguise was a vehicle. So you remove the camera because you don't want it transmitting a picture.
Yes. And you find the vehicle, you're going to find Nancy, right? Because even if it's been sold 5 times, you can go to the person who has it now and say, well, I bought it from so-and-so. And you go to so-and-so and they say, well, I got it from so-and-so. You just keep tracking that down. Or, I mean, there's paperwork. If it's been registered, it'll tell you as well.
Sure, the vehicle, because we know that the blood stopped at the exact place a vehicle would have had to have been for Nancy to be put into a car. The question was there one or was there two? So when I look at this, and this is based on my training and experience, and it's not speculation. So I want, some people may say, well, it's speculation. No, it's actually based on real data, stuff that I've done, stuff that comes out of the National Crime Victimization Survey, stuff that the FBI does. You would be hard pressed to find cases of where somebody that went in to do a burglary decided that kidnapping was the least risky alternative to getting out of the house, because then you have to plan for it. You have to plan for control and exfiltration. And that gets back into the videos. I know we'll talk about that in a minute. But so as time goes on, when I was out there, I said, and that was not too long after it happened, I think a few days after, I was in Tucson for 4 days. And I said, you got to quit treating this as a missing person. It's not. It's a no-body homicide. There's enough indicators to say it's a no-body homicide. Her age, her cardiac condition.
Do you guys, maybe I should do a poll on that. Do you think this was a ransom? Or let's do ransom. Or let's see here. Other. Okay. Ooh, sorry. Other. There we go. Okay. Do you think this was? Why is it not popping up? Stop poll. Start poll. There we go. Do you think this was ransom, or do you think this is just, for whatever reason, the goal was Nancy? 1, if you think it was a ransom and it turned bad. 2, if you think it was just a flat out homicide, 3 something else. I watch live streams, Night Flyer night. There aren't that many driving through the area. I think that they have a car but no plates. Why would they hold the information from the public if they have it? And Lori, very good question, right? I have said for a long time now, it seemed like in the beginning they were having a hard time finding a vehicle. But if they didn't know, in my opinion, who the person was by now, they would be saying, in my opinion, be on the lookout for a 2006 Honda Accord or whatever the vehicle that they were looking out for. So I agree with that. I think, yeah, that's very interesting. It's almost unanimous here. 5% ransom, 92% just flat out homicide, and 3% other right now. The FBI has a way of separating all the DNA from the family and police to get to the perpetrators. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go.
The time of night she was taken out, the blood, this is a no-body homicide. So I think when you look at it, there's very little, if anything, to indicate that it's a burglary gone wrong. Circumstantially, all the evidence points to an abduction. Now, then the question becomes, was it a targeted abduction? Did they know?
Yes, that this was targeted. I mean, I think anybody would agree with that, don't you? Donna T, thank you so much for your gifts, my dear. And PGH, thank you for the floating hearts. Appreciate you. You are very sweet. Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me know, YouTuber. Appreciate you. If I missed anybody else's gifts, I will get to them here in just a little bit. Thank you, guys. Nancy was targeted and they were hired to have her taken out. I mean, again, if this guy was there the 11th, like we always say, if he was there the 11th, this has to be premeditated, planned, executed, carried out.
Who she was and who she was connected to. That's the part that's unknowable. Nobody can tell you. The only person that can tell you that is the person who committed the offense.
It's so interesting you say that. All this time, I haven't really put a lot of thought into what you said, that it could have been taking the camera off to conceal the car, not to actually be worried about the camera.
Well, and Brad, look, he stood out there. You and I saw him. He stood out there. He wasn't worried. He walked up. He had the bite light. You know, he was putting the vegetation in front. He was standing. He was.
I feel like he knew that camera was there, but I also think he wasn't thinking when he first came up and realized, oh shit, that camera's there. I mean, he really didn't want his face shown because he kept covering the camera, right? He really didn't want his face shown either, but he did.
Standing there for enough time that had the camera been recording to the cloud, it would have been captured for posterity. These guys have operated, and look, he's definitely exhibiting some sophisticated tradecraft. Let me put it that way. This is not his first rodeo doing this. So he's not worried about being identified. What I think it is he's worried about the vehicle being identified, because a vehicle is easy to track. Somebody in a ski mask, all of the people who use, Brian, and you get it worse than I do because of your profile and the number of viewers that you have. But I'm sure you get emails and messages all the time. Hey, look at this. I reversed engineered this, or I did this. It's like, none of that works. The thing that I keep coming back to is you look where the blood goes, you look where the blood stops, she's in a vehicle. The real question.
I mean, she had to. It's only logic, in my opinion, that she had to be in a vehicle. She couldn't have walked away no matter what. She was just incapable of doing that. I think they pulled up right there at the sidewalk. I don't think that they went to the made her go to the end of the road and put her where in in the roadway. I don't think they put her in right there either. I think they just pulled up right there and put her in the car, whether that is in the trunk, the hatch, the back, the front. They put her in a vehicle.
There is, was it one or was it two people involved in this? But I go back to, I think it was a targeted abduction, whether it was a known targeted abduction, like they intended to target Nancy Guthrie, as opposed to a lady living in a high, a rent.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, who targets an 84-year-old? Just targets an 84-year-old? Nobody. Literally nobody. The statistics are none. Virtually none. The statistics, there's not even statistics on it that someone does this to an 84-year-old. Thank you so much, baby kisses. Appreciate you, my love. Yeah. It had to be so scary. So scary. So I don't think this is just like a serial unaliver who just does this because they get off on unaliving people. There has to be a motive behind it. Like, serial unalivers, they do things just because they're fucking evil, and they enjoy the killing process, right? But most people unalive someone for a reason, not, they do it for a reason. So what was that reason? In that a hand and a phone on the bottom right of the perps pic. Yeah, that was weird. No description of her clothing. Yeah, well, she, might have a lot of different kind of like nightgowns or whatever. February 1st is so suspicious. First of the month, property taxes due, ? For someone Olympic, someone in debt had to get documents for a reason, ? Signed contracts, ? Did NG invest in Bitcoins? I don't know if she would invest that. Probably not. Thank you so much, PGH. You're very kind to me, darling. Thank you so much. Bring Nancy. Yes, home. Absolutely. The one who wanted it done wasn't the one who did it. I agree. Follow the money. Look for someone spending since the first of the year. Half now, half later. Person replacing things. But this is the thing. You can save, follow the money, and it very likely is something related to money. But I don't think once they unalived her, they got this. I don't think that they got money from Nancy necessarily. Like when they took her out, they may have been getting money from Nancy before. They might be getting money because they were being paid to do it, or whatever. But bottom line, yes, absolutely. Allegedly, yep. You seen her last
area. That's the part that's unknown, but definitely he was not worried about being seen. He was more worried about the vehicle being identified, because that's easy to do. I'm telling you, I worked a fatality accident one time as a state trooper. All I had was a little piece of the grill. And from that, we were able to reconstruct the actual year, make, model, got a partial VIN number, and we tracked it down. We actually found the vehicle from just a little piece of the grill. And in this day of AI and everything, they would have been able to identify the exact vehicle. Then when you do that, guess what? Then you go into your files.
Yes, this guy's absolutely right. But, where is that vehicle now? And again, if we are talking about potentially someone that's in the car industry, they have a way of getting rid of cars, especially if they import and export cars or know how to get rid of them.
The sheriff's office, the PD would have gone in. Who do we have that we know is a bad guy that's driving a 92 Honda or an 84 Acura, whatever the case might be, right? That would have been a biometric from a vehicle standpoint. That would have been completely identifiable. That's why he didn't care about being seen himself. That's why the camera was removed before she was brought out.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring about them going into their files. The sheriff also talked about this, that they've got thousands of videos, cameras. There's thousands and thousands of video out there from intersections and ring cameras that we have to catalog, he said. Maybe it's all the white trucks over here, the red sedans over there. It's so that if when we have a suspect, we can say, hey, suspect John Doe, we got him. Now we'll go back and look at all the different vehicle. I mean, is that typical in an investigation like this, that they be cataloging all of the cars from the traffic cameras?
Well, and it's allegedly didn't Tommaso quit working like last year? I've heard that.
It's a step you would take, but I think it's inverted. See, my theory, look, I did some stuff for, after 9/11, I did some stuff in the DOD community, the intelligence community, the justice community. Everybody said this is like looking for a needle in a haystack. I said, guys, you've got the wrong mentality. Your theory is make the haystack smaller. My theory is use a bigger magnet, pull it out. I would instead reverse it. I would say, look, you've got all this video. Well, we know the vehicle wouldn't have left no later than probably 2:28. That's when the last ping from the page.
I was getting ready to, I haven't seen this part, but I was getting ready to talk about that. If we go to the time frame, right, what time the camera shut off and this person left the property, they need to be looking right after on the cameras around Nancy's home, businesses, all of that, right after they would have left in that 40
maker was to
minutes.
The phone, somewhere between 2:12 and 2:28. It's very simple. And it's I actually did this, and I think I did it with one of your anchors, but I showed the egress analysis. I said, these are the ways out of that area.
Yeah.
How do you get 5 miles out, right? I'd simply reverse it. I say, what vehicle traffic do I have in this time window? And I would slide this window through, and I would say, what vehicles do I have going through? Those are my vehicles of interest. Now I work backwards from the vehicles I have targeted, not waiting for somebody to go, hey, we arrested John Smith in a white Toyota. Now let's go back and look for the white Toyotas. You still have to catalog that stuff, because if a break comes in, you want that. But I would have a team working the inversion of that, which is, I want to know all the vehicles. Here's our window of opportunity. I want to know every vehicle that was going through this window of opportunity. And that's a much smaller subset than trying to catalog, umpteen million videos.
How is it possible that with that doorbell video, where you can still see the eyebrows and you can see the mouth and you can see the way he walks and the clothing and the backpack, and how is it possible that we still don't, that at least according to the sources I have, there's still no suspect, there's no real...
Well, I think this person doesn't have a lot of ties in Tucson. I don't think they have a lot of ties in Tucson. I think that, and maybe like his people, if you will, might not want to get involved.
Still good lead. It's almost like they're still, it's like, it still feels like it happened yesterday. They're still sorting through, you know what I mean? There are a lot of progress, I don't think.
Yeah, this is a tough one, because you do have a approximate height, and they can get pretty good about it. They'll use LiDAR, and you saw when the tent was out there, they were taking measurements of that 100%. Front portico and everything. And so they will be able to get pretty close to how tall that person was. So that starts helping you narrow it down. I'm not looking for somebody who's 5 foot, and I'm not looking for somebody who's 7 foot, right? So I'm looking for somebody who's 5'10". Now I can go back into offender files, what they call field interview cards, FI cards, reports, intelligence reports. Yeah, and then you're right. We can know it's a male. Is it a Hispanic male? Could be. I mean, could be a dark-skinned white male. That part is a little bit iffy.
Middle Eastern.
But the other thing too,
Jordanian,
is if the person is not from this area, and which we know from home invasions, and we know from certain traveling gangs like Tren de Aragua, when they would go out and hit IN homes, they're not from that area. They travel, they go into an area. and then they come out. The chances of them having prior contact with law enforcement in that area is minimal. And that's the reason why it makes it hard to track these gangs, because there's nothing organic. It's not like, hey, it's the usual suspects, Johnny the gangbanger. Okay, we got him in our files. We know who it is. There's some other things you can do too. It's very problematic because of the mask. The mask makes it difficult to do. People say, well, can't you do facial recognition, or what about the eyes? Because of the infrared lighting, because of the
and that's yes, Jenfred. Look at Delphi. The unaliver was living right there among the victims' families, and no one turned that guy in. They even had his voice, and he was checking them out at CVS. Yeah, and it's a very small town. Very, very small town, right? We had pictures of this guy for years on the bridge and his voice.
The extra coverage that's around the face, it makes it difficult to do that. You might get an idea about how far apart the eyes are. That could lead you to some really hard work, Brian. It's like recovering those videos. That was tough stuff. Another tough stuff thing is going back into Arizona DMV and pulling which they can get access to, pull all the driver's license photos.
Today, I was digging so fucking hard on Z, and I was working with some programs, and he has deleted almost everything. I can still see some of the things that he had up, but it won't show it to me. Like, I can see the metadata, but it won't show me what, like, if it was a picture or the post, it'll just show me like the link and the metadata, because he has deleted everything, almost everything. Seems like they would be able to work backwards with the cars or vehicles that have come in the area. Yeah. Z, Mr. Z. Yeah. Yeah. Things from 2020, 2021, 2022, all that. 2025, 2026. Again, he claims he's not involved, and he says that he hasn't been in the country since 2019.
Okay, first thing we want to do is exclude everybody who's not male, right? So now we're left with males. Now we want everybody on their driver's license who is 5'8" to 6 foot, and you can narrow it down, and then you could start doing potentially some analysis with AI.
Right. So, like, if they can get, all of these vehicles that was in whatever area within a certain time, they can, especially if, like, they have their license plate and all that, they can go to the DMV, see who owns a Honda Accord, for instance, that is 5'8" to 6 foot, and it'll draw it down. Mr. Z was very clever with the interview. Yeah, he's being show that passport, boo-boo.
That is a long hard slog.
Now.
So it's not as easy, and it really boils down to, was that person from that area? Do they have prior contact with law enforcement? If so, then I'm confident their information will be surfaced at some point. But Brian, it's like you pick a town you've never been to. You go in there, you commit a crime, and you leave. There is nothing in the police files that has anything about Brian Enton in there. There's nothing they will be able to do unless you left fingerprints or DNA. But if you just come in, steal a bike, put it in the back of your truck, and drive off, dude, there's just nothing there, and that may be what they're dealing with.
But what about no one recognizing him? I mean, you mentioned the reward up over $1 million. I'm just thinking, last time you and I spoke, I would have thought by now someone would want that money, or someone would make the call. Why do you think there's still nothing?
It goes back to It could be that the person's not from that area. So the chances that somebody would see the coverage and see stuff the farther out you go.
Yeah, they still say no suspect, but they're going to say no suspect until there's an arrest. He does say that they're getting closer, right? Well, how are you getting closer? You've got to be on a trail to be getting closer, right? If you know no more than the day you started, you're not getting closer. You know, it's like a dog, hunting a rabbit, a beagle hunting a rabbit, sniffing. It's a trail. So they got someone, in my opinion. Here's my question about Z. He seems as if he'd be arrogant, in my opinion. The porch guy seems like he didn't give a rip, but not that inflated puff chest. What do you think, Justin? I think they're both arrogant. I think this guy's very arrogant. I think he's very particular.
But the other thing could be, though, too, that
I don't think I disagree. I don't think this guy is some big arrogant, he's got a lot of bodies underneath him, so to speak, where he's unalive people. I don't think that's him. Didn't seem to be a match for
lends
CODIS.
more credibility to a single person, single offender, rather than two offenders. Anytime you have two people cannot keep a secret. A secret can only be kept by one person, no matter what they say, right? But in the gang culture, in the crime culture, there is this thing about, hey, don't snitch, don't say anything to the cops, don't snitch us out. Is there somebody out there who knows? I would say so. Is there somebody out there who may think that if I say something, now I become the target? Is my life worth $1.2 million? That's a tough thing. There's no easy answer to this. I know everybody wants the...
And what he said in that interview, what really got my goat was he said, well, is it okay for me to come back? Like, it's like, dude, you say you haven't been in the United States in 6 years. How would it affect you coming back? Come on back, baby. Come on back. Baby, come back. Yeah.
Hey, rationalize this for me. Give me a cohesive answer. That's the danger. When we start locking onto something that seems like it makes sense, now that becomes our frame. When I would work cases, I always told the dispatchers and other people, do not just say a death investigation. Do not say possible suicide. The minute you say possible suicide, then everything is framed through the construct of a suicide. So if you get something in that doesn't comport with it being a suicide or not a suicide, that goes outside the frame. So start with the minimum information possible and work out from there. And so in this case, it could be, the reason I said that is that everybody gets their frame. Everybody knows what they're looking for. And in this case, this guy, it could be is that it's a single person. It's a solo operator, a lone wolf, which would be consistent with the single image we saw before and then the video we saw this time. I know some other people like Jim Clemente and Dr. Bodden talk about like the blood was very close to the ground, might have been just carried out so that gives credence to a single person. So when it's a single person, two people can't keep a secret, right? But one person probably can. And
is he talking about Dr. Bodden? Pathologist? Is he still alive? Yeah. I think he's still alive. I would love to see Dr. Bodden. I have not seen Dr. Bodden talk about this case. He's a pathologist. He's about 842 years old. And he's done so many high profile cases. It's incredible. Very intelligent man.
If they're not from this area or far enough out, they would have to recognize there's not enough video to recognize gait. Like if I saw you and I saw you walking I could say, okay, that's Brian Enton. I've seen him on TV, whatever, right? But we don't have enough context for somebody to say, I recognize that guy definitively. Like I see his gait, he walks a certain way. We have the face, we kind of have the build, but we lack, if we had, maybe 30 seconds to a minute more video, that would provide more context to make it easier for people to recognize him.
Do you think all the criticism of the sheriff has been fair?
No. Look, I have no dog in the hunt. So I don't think all of it's been fair, because I think some of it comes from certain corners that don't understand how investigations work. And it is, look, you cannot manufacture things out of thin air. So it's like, well, why don't you have a suspect? Because we don't have one. Could things have been done better? Most places, especially when you have a major case. So if we think about it, that same time, the shooting, I believe it was up at Brown, the police chief up there, masterful job of how you handle it, direct communication and stuff. This will be a case study, Brian, for public information officers about this is how do you handle things. So I think there's some fair criticism, as there always is in any investigation, of how somebody handled it, how they said things. I don't think everything's fair, because some of it goes to process. If you don't understand the process, then you criticize it. You don't understand. This is not TV. You don't get DNA results back in 30 minutes because a television show, a 1 hour show, is only 44 minutes long. I don't get my results back in 44 minutes. So some things take time. And if you have convoluted DNA, if you have mixed DNA, there is nothing that is at this point in time admissible in court to say, we deconvoluted that DNA. We now know for sure that between your DNA, my DNA, maybe we both were bleeding and it got mixed. There's no definitive way that has been admitted in court yet to say, that's you, that's me. We've been able to separate the DNA completely. So there's a lot of scientific things that people don't understand that give rise to the criticism. But as with anything, there'll be the issues. Did they call in the FBI? Director Patel has one story. Sheriff has another. The record speaks for itself on things like that.
Do you think the guy could be dead in the doorbell camera?
I don't know. That's I put that when I talk about types of things that are known, that's unknowable at this point. We don't know. Is it permanently unknowable? That's a different statement. We don't know. At some point when something happens and you like evidence is erased away, it's permanently unknowable. No amount of investigation will go back and recreate that evidence that was lost. So in this case, I can't answer that. What you can do is, what do we know factually, right? We know factually it hasn't been identified yet, or at least not publicly. The reward hasn't tipped the scale. There's no indication, even though there's some tradecraft that indicates the Mexican carry, the way the pistol is, that's a term of art down there, that it could be from South Tucson, or, you're not too far away from the border.
I think the guy's left-handed and he uses a right-handed holster. And that's the reason he's doing it, because it's so he can grab it out. My hunch is Justin. I just can't unsee it all. It's creeping me out. Yeah. I was looking here for Dr. Bodden about this. This is very interesting. Let's see here what he says. Oh, okay. This is where they left the damn shirt out there. Messy, folks.
You go knock.
Okay. So Dr. Bodden speaks about this, and he says the blood spatter on Nancy Guthrie's front porch suggests a single abductor took her out of the home, according to a former FBI profiler. This is an FBI profiler. I thought is Dr. Bodden in this one? Okay, maybe it's the next one. Give me a second, guys. I want to see Michael Bodden. Where is he at? Okay, here we go. This one. This is interesting. Okay. Nancy, he says, quote, Nancy Guthrie is bleeding from some area, either the hands or the face. Forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bodden told Fox News Digital, quote, the nature of the blood spots with little pale centers or donut shapes are typical from drops that come from the nose or mouth because they mix with air. Okay. Which, yeah, we've always kind of thought that. But he also says the hands too. Quote, that means she's coughing up blood or dripping from the nose. Otherwise, there would be a dripping from a cut from above, possibly from the hands or face. Law enforcement previously confirmed DNA analysis of the droplets confirmed the blood belonging to Nancy Guthrie. Bodden added that the blood droplets signify Nancy Guthrie was either unable or did not attempt to stop the bleeding as she moved from the front of her house to the driveway. The blood droplets quote, the blood droplets on the porch area during an abduction, Bodden said, quote, they indicate that it did not occur by innocent means, end quote. They happened not in a normal innocent way where it could be covered up or have iodine or bandages put on it. Bodden pointed to the nature of the blood droplets and the location in which they were found suggest that she was bleeding as she was being abducted. Quote, these are not innocent droplets. From the shape, number of droplets, and the place of the droplets outside of the porch, they are entirely consistent and indicative of occurring during an abduction. Guthrie vanished from her Tucson home. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know where the video one is, but if I find that, I'll show you guys. Okay. Moving on here. Dr. Bodden, like, he's truly world renowned, just amazing. Let me just make sure that, oh, that's, I think he's talking about Epstein there. Just one second. Hold on. Where was this? Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm getting distracted. Here we go. Let me point this out right here. Okay, so bear with me, guys. Did I ever show you guys this? This is, I'm gonna mute it because I think it's commercial license, but this right here, did y'all ever see this? See, I don't think this is, the porch guy is not Tommaso. Tommaso's just built differently, in my opinion. You still believe 3 involved. You can get into the front door without a key. You can pick the lock and get. I don't think that they picked the lock from the front, though. I think that they came from the back. I think they did go out in the front. So the perp had to be in front of Nancy, and the source of the blood had to be behind Nancy. Otherwise, there would have been foot traffic through the droplets. Something went through the blood, though. There is something that had to go through that blood, in my opinion. I totally agree with active bleeding. I've seen it many times. I don't necessarily believe she was alive, or she could have been alive. I'm not saying she was dead either, but she could have been maybe on her way out, if you will, or she could have been deceased even. Yeah, deceased people don't bleed. but they do if there's a wound and gravity. So I want to talk about this guy. A lot of you guys were sending me about this guy. Old suspect resurfaces. Clay Crouch. They live across the street from Nancy and has extensive criminal history. While many said he was incarcerated at the time, the fact that he wasn't, thanks to Matt Blanc, he was released in September 2025 and has been free since. Anonymous tips from 004 said Clay is porch guy. I don't believe this guy's the porch guy, though. Same height and weight, has motive, had the opportunity. It's time to take a deep dive into Clay. His good friend, Ian Bassing, deals with cryptocurrency, this person says. Is Clay the perp? And where was he on February 1st? Also lived there, Raheem Stevenson. Have you guys looked at, has anybody seen anything about this guy? Yeah, I don't think it's porch guy at all. But what I do find interesting is that some people say that him and what's his face have daily have a link somewhere. Okay, let me pull this up. Bear with me, guys, as I find it. I got too many things open here. This guy, again, don't bother. We're not saying that he's guilty of anything. Don't bother, harass him, contact him in any way, shape, or form. All of that. Okay. But there was, who is this guy? The other day, Sleuth Intuition spoke with somebody who knows about them. So I pulled his record. And holy hell, does he have a record? Oh, Jen, I'm sorry, honey. You lost someone? I'm so sorry, Jen. I don't see her in chat, but I see you guys writing her. Okay. What did DEA say? I think they got rid of the front porch camera so that the vehicle would not be visible to the camera. I think that could be a lot to do with it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So let me find it here.
And read what I said. I said they are not black. And if you want to call in, let me know.
She calls it right here.
Get blocked from my channel.
I think that worked,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I can just hear you now. You're a little quiet, but I don't know if you can get closer to the mic or turn it up.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I think they're going to struggle to hear you.
Okay, hold on.
Welcome on, by the way. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. I'm just going to let you guys know, Matthew and Luke don't even talk. I don't know who said that Luke or Matthew was in Tucson, because he absolutely was not.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Matthew and Luke are brothers. Luke Daly is the guy that did the sit down interview. His house was raided, and they supposedly they did do a search warrant and took in his Range Rover that he had just gotten a week after Nancy Guthrie went missing. But Matthew, I've looked into Matthew. I did it on the members only. We talked about it. Matthew is completely opposite in every way, shape, and form as Luke. Books of the Bible names. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If it was Zach who said Matthew was driving. Who said Matthew was driving? Well, I don't think that they're saying that he's driving here. Let me give Sleuth Intuition credit here. Bear with me. But the question is, where was Matthew? And again, I just don't believe he was in Tucson, in my opinion. Okay, Sleuth. This is a new channel. I've not really seen much of their work, but I've heard they've been on the Nancy Guthrie case, and this was very interesting.
And if you knew what he did, you guys would be like, what in the hell? He's like raises billions of dollars for the medical marijuana. I can give you the actual name. I can show you.
No, I have it.
Oh, okay.
I have all that information. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he has his degree in psychology. Do you have his pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell. I've got a picture of like Matthew and all that, and you can tell he's just got his shit together.
So he's like, they don't even speak.
Well, I mean, he was definitely in Tucson. Luke and his mom both admitted it. Matt was detained during the search of the Tucson home.
No, Christopher was detained. You want to bet me on it?
Who's Christopher?
Christopher is Luke. There's 4 foster kids. Well, them 2 were adopted. The other 2 are foster kids. Yeah.
Okay, so there's supposed to be Mary only took Luke and Matthew and adopted those 2, but they're supposed to have 2 other siblings, right?
Christopher was detained.
Okay, we'll look into that, but then we're going to play the video where they talk about who was detained and
yeah,
who was in town. But I want you to speak your piece and all that before we get into this.
In middle school, he was the worst on our swim team. By high school, he was number 1. He also has a degree in psychology.
Okay, she's going to talk about some other guys here, and then we're going to take a look into that, if you will, in just a second.
Makes sense, right? Both parents.
Yep. He was the good one. Now, if you said that it was like Clay and Luke, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's possible. With either one of them.
Now, listen to that.
Parents.
Yep. He was the good one. Now, if you said that it was like Clay and Luke, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's possible.
Clay and Luke. So, Luke, we obviously know who Luke is. And then if we look at Clay, which is allegedly Luke's brother, his name is Clay, allegedly Clay Crouch. Okay. And Clay has a big ass record. Big record.
With either one of them, but not.
Well, who's Clay?
Clay is the one that has the house. His mother has a house directly across the street, the one directly across from Nancy. And he has previous kidnapping charges involved with some very...
Okay. Bab says Clay is his adopted brother, not blood brother. Okay. Okay, help me out here when you say adopted brother, because Mary took on 2 children, right? Matthew and Luke. So how is he an adopted brother? Yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Clay is Nancy's neighbor, diagonal across street. Yes. Yeah, Matthew is. Yes. Okay. Okay. You was confusing me. Okay, that's what I was saying. Okay, we're good now. Mary and Luke lived fairly close to. Yeah, 2 miles. Okay, here we go.
Not nice people.
So wait,
And
you're saying that Luke and Clay are connected?
Oh yeah, them two are friends. Them two, or I won't say friends. I'll say acquaintances for sure.
Okay, listen to that right there again.
Not nice people.
So wait, you're saying that Luke and Clay are connected?
Oh yeah, them two are friends. Them two, or I won't say friends. I'll say acquaintances for sure.
All right, let me pull up something.
And Clay's his last name, right?
Clay is Crouch. Yep.
Clay Crouch is his full name.
Yep. Who's actually?
Yeah, we've talked about Clay Crouch.
Yeah, he's actually sitting in federal prison right now. But there's 2 people that went in with him that has already been released.
Okay, now.
Okay, so you think?
Okay, I've got his record right here, Crouch, and let me see something. He's got just a crazy ass record. He's like 43 years old. And hold on one second. I don't think he is in jail right now. She says he is, but I don't think he is. He's not. He's not in jail.
Clay might have something to do with this, him and Luke possibly.
I would put it past him.
But definitely not Matthew, is what you're saying.
I in my opinion, absolutely not.
Okay, so there's a guy. Some of you are confused. There's a guy that lives across the street from Nancy. His name is Clay. He's been in a lot of trouble. He allegedly knows the Dailies. Luke, particularly Luke. They are allegedly, according to this lady, acquaintances. And Clay has been in a lot of trouble. And obviously, Luke's been in a lot of trouble. Or some trouble, Luke has. They got picked up during the Nancy thing. Let me see what is it. I'm looking at his record right now, so I'm just trying to. Let me find something while this plays. 1 second.
What makes you think he wasn't in Tucson? You said you could prove that. That's important.
Because Matthew was at a gala for Maggie's place.
Okay, and you can prove that? Can you email that to me?
I can. I just need to get an email from you.
sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Yeah, let's get his alibi out there. And I like the information that you're providing here. Christopher, what's Christopher's full name? Do you know? Like, we're not trying to accuse anybody. We just want to look at everyone. I mean, we even looked at Annie, Obviously, she's not involved.
Yeah, Christopher's last name is Dowry. Dowlrey.
So what I get is about this Clay Crouch guy. A man named Clay Crouch, who is a, quote, habitual criminal with burglary and kidnapping charges, end quote, has come under the spotlight amid the Nancy Guthrie case. Let's see here. Crouch lawyer Mark Resnick is friends on Facebook with the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. JLR shared screenshots to back up his claims about the Facebook, adding that Resnick is also friends on the platform with a man named Walsh Nash. a video that previously surfaced showed a man standing out in front of Nancy's house, which I don't, claiming that someone named Walter Nash is involved or knows who is involved. Nancy Guthrie's neighbor, Clay Crouch, is a habitual criminal with burglary and kidnapping charges. Okay. There's something else here that I've got about Clay. I just need to find it here. I think somebody's sending me something. Oh, 1 second. I'm getting some information in. They're saying... Okay. I just text you back.
Dowell Ray.
It's R-A-Y. Oh, I'm sorry. It's R-A-Y.
Okay. Okay. Now
Correct.
who's that there with you?
Yes, Pamela.
Oh, that's just my friend.
Okay.
I went to school with all of them.
With Luke too?
Yep. I went to school with Luke and Matthew after I switched from anthropology.
I'll show
over
you the
to
house here in a
Catalina
minute.
Foothills High School.
Okay. And do you know Kayla? Kayla Day?
Kayla is a joke. I know her. I don't deal with her crowd, but yeah, she's a joke.
How does she
Kayla's
know Luke?
Because Kayla was dating Luke. Kayla's been married a couple of times, but Kayla was dating Luke. Before all of this even became an issue, before anything ever happened to Nancy, Kayla and Luke got arrested a couple of times and for transporting.
Yeah, big time drug dealing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And they've been known, so said, I can't say this for sure, but to transport people across the little, because it's right there to go into Mexico back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And Kayla, I feel like I was told that she was calling Luke and wanted Luke to make three-way calls. Luke didn't end up putting money back on the phone. And that's when she all of a sudden threw Luke under a bus and brought him into Nancy Guthrie.
Hmm.
And all of that about Luke don't know why he got drug into this. That's
I
why.
don't.
He knows exactly why.
I don't think Kayla, yeah, in jail and stuff. I get it. But for the FBI to get a search warrant to knock on your door and go through your shit and have your name out there in the press, you've got to give up something that really implies that something is going on here. Yeah, there's some rugs for sure going on. I just read that release date on MSN article, but it said that it was disputed. May have been a typo. What did Stickler say above? Yeah, we got to pick a Clay. I just showed him a minute ago. Okay. Clay does not seem to be related. They're not related. They're not related, but they allegedly know each other. You got to have probable cause. Yeah. And not only just, probable cause that the sheriff signed off up on the FBI and the attorney general.
Well, he lied in his interview, said he didn't really know Kayla.
That's a lie. I can prove that they've been arrested together multiple times.
Well, they have been arrested together, and I think that they had a thing going on for sure. But I do think he downplayed Kayla a lot.
Multiple. I have one. Can you send me the other?
I sure can.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Which, do you have the one where they thought that they were transporting people?
No, I don't have that one. I have the most recent the one that the charges they're facing now for drug dealing and trafficking.
Yeah, I'll send you everything. I'll email it to you. I don't trust Luke as far as I can throw him.
I don't either.
So,
But he was in,
And I think they'll be back. I do
Matthew-
think they'll be back. He was nervous. He was nervous, and he just said some things, in my opinion, that just did not make sense.
You're saying he wasn't in town,
no,
and he wasn't the brother that was detained.
no.
There was allegedly 2 guys in the house and Mary. One of the guys was Luke. Who was the other guy? Or not Luke. There was allegedly 2 guys in the house, wasn't there? Hold on, let me think. 2 guys in the house and Mary, and then they supposedly took Luke from the Range Rover. Yes, he's Luke is awaiting trial.
But you know, they said there was so much
That's
said that night.
interesting.
They said that somebody got
Luke says that they took him at Culver's. I mean, we've got those pictures. Let me see. I can see if I can find them real quick. We got those pictures of them taking the car and all that. It's real strange. It's real strange.
got shot himself in the head. That didn't happen.
Well, that's all the weird rumor mill. That was from Dolly.
Yeah.
He went to a separate crime scene, and
That
it was
was
a hit
bullshit.
and run. And then people were like, "Oh, it's a guy in a
That
Range
was
Rover who
complete
took his own life."
hogwash.
That's the danger of social media, right there. That's why people shouldn't go around spreading
People not
information.
I agree
that
with
it was
that.
Luke in the Range Rover. That's his Range Rover.
Yeah, and why did he buy a new Range Rover? What happened to that blue car?
And why did they pay with the cash? Essentially, they paid with a cashier's check. Who pays? Who has the money to pay for any car cash, let alone a Range Rover?
Hell, if I know where to get the money is what I want to know. Because
Yeah,
he
and they
don't
paid
work.
for the Range Rover cash.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
So you are able to send proof of an alibi.
I mean, that sounds like a little bit of rug money right there. Well, yes, mom bought it. But sometimes the money might come from maybe Luke, but it's in mom's name. You know what I mean? Not saying that happened, but I'm saying that can happen. He said his mom bought it, yeah. Because I think he doesn't want people to know he's got that much cash. What he's doing. Allegedly, maybe, possibly.
Alibi for Matthew.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's
He
huge.
was up in that gala for Maggie's place. I'll get all of
Um,
it together for you and send it to you.
Yeah, some information on Chris and Clay, if you would too. That's good. This
Okay.
is good information. Thank you. Anything else you want to put out there before we kind of go on with this?
I just want to say that in all reality, you can never put nothing past nobody. I mean, we don't expect husbands to kill their wives. And so I can't sit here and tell you guys, I know for a fact because of who the type of person he is that Matt's not involved. I'm saying I know because I know where he was that night. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important.
That's all I want to make clear.
Do you know
So,
if these guys do a lot of camping, like in the area around Tucson?
I can't say that I know him to do a lot of camping.
Any hot spots that they might frequent? Places that we might want to go look if they were involved. Not saying they were because I don't know. But
Here's what
if they were,
Calaman's house that's been empty for probably 5 years, the broken down house that's diagonal from Nancy's, where Luke and them got caught before, sitting up in there smoking dope, How come that was never searched?
Wait, say that again. You're saying that Luke was
So-
actually arrested in a nearby abandoned home right there by Nancy's before?
Yes, fucking dope. And Callum.
Now, yeah, very much so. Now, if that is true, and he's again, which I mean, you would think he's been in that neighborhood. It's 2 miles away. It does happen. I had a younger girl with her boss from a nightclub waiting her to get braces. He paid me in club money, all cash, 15,000. Oh yeah, I mean, if they've got it, but that's a lot of money. A Range Rover's 60,000 used. They are talking that a relative, Christine Chapman, she's the one who went to federal prison for computer farming with Korea. What the fuck? Computer farming with Korea? You fucking working for Kim Jong-il here. Jesus Christ. Right, Kelly? Lady speaking, went to high school with these guys. Yeah. And Zach said a guy and his mom bought the vehicle, and the mom paid Zach from the dealership riding around with Jerry. Yes. Yeah, we know about Jerry. Jerry's got like 19 businesses, like 19 dealerships. You're killing me, Justin. The fuckers are working with Kim Jong-il or Ung or
House that's abandoned.
Do you have a date on that? Because I should be able to pull those records.
I'll get it.
All right. Any other information like that? I think those are the little pieces, those little tidbits people can kind of start to piece together.
Yeah, so that house that's diagonal to the right across from Nancy's, that's Eric Callum's house.
Yeah, I went into that home. The one that like didn't have a
I
roof
see you. I
for a
just
long time. Is
text
that the
you
one you're talking about?
something.
There's 2 of them diagonal from each other. One of them is
Yeah.
Kansas, one of them is Callum's. Callum can't afford to finish fixing the house the way it's supposed to be fixed. That's why it's abandoned. Luke was caught in there. It wasn't with Kayla, it was with some other girl, and I don't remember her name, but I will find out.
And they got drug charges for that?
They don't really charge you like that for smoking. I mean, you know, if you get caught like trafficking or something, yeah, but this is Arizona. It's like a slap on the wrist, if that.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of times they won't even do anything now. They just take it from you.
Did you know William Webby, Kayla's husband, the guy who got charged for smuggling people?
Wait, William?
Yeah, Bill Webby, Will Webby.
Okay. Not even I don't know if it's William, but I know a Bill, but they're not really married to each other. She's married to Chad.
Well, we know Mr. Z worked at a car dealership. He's crazy about cars. I have a picture of him when he's like, I don't know, he's a young kid at the time. And he is talking about cars and stuff like that.
Chad who?
What's Chad's last name? His name. No, I don't think she took his last name. I'll find out because I don't think she took his last name because Bill is Day. And her maiden name, I believe, is Amiris. However you say that. Yeah. That girl is trouble anyway, but her and Luke are 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah, because he straight up lied about that.
He said
He
that
was
I
asked-
have an interview. He said he didn't know her.
Yeah, he said
This one guy, Clay, his family has a trust as well. There's several homes as well.
I didn't know her.
She was pregnant.
I'm digging.
Supposedly she was pregnant.
with his
So
with his child.
Yeah, so I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how they would say that. I mean, you're not going to claim you're pregnant by somebody you don't know.
And you know them because you went to
I'm going to
school
show
with
you
them
to you
all.
on them.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting. Christopher Dalray is Luke's brother, and does he have a record too?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Ooh.
No. Not that I know of. I mean,
I find this interesting. 1 second here. I'm looking here on the map. So here's Nancy's house, right? Here's Nancy's house right here, where my mouse is. Right here is the Clay's house, right? Right here. Remember the neighbor guy said they found a car sitting right here when they were walking their dog that day? When Nancy, it was after Nancy she had left for Tommaso and Annie's. They were parked right here. That's interesting. Right beside the house, like literally right out beside the house. Yeah, Pebbles.
If anybody was going to help Luke, it's going to be Christopher.
It's going to be Christopher.
That's big. That's good information.
Mary and him only adopted Luke and Matthew. The other two, and I even posted this on my ex account not too long ago. The other two were strictly foster kids. They did not actually adopt them.
Okay. So they would just with them for a little while and then hopefully get placement, or
Luke was trouble from the beginning. I'm going to tell you that right.
Okay. Yes. All right. Let's think of this for a second. Remember Luke's interview when he said he didn't really know where Nancy lived, and didn't really know anybody in that area? But if he knows Clay, that's right across from Nancy. I just showed you. Thank you for the gift. Who sent it? Nishobi, thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you very, very much. The person talking did post a picture of Luke from his high school days. Then he would know where Nancy lives. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. I'm pulling up something, so just bear with me as
right now. Luke, I remember Luke getting in trouble for stealing kids' bikes and 13.
Jeez.
He almost set their Burris house on fire. The house over on Burris, he almost set it on fire.
Yes, he does. He does, KY girl. Yep, sure does. Maybe why Sleuth has not heard anything from her. I don't know.
Oh, so Nancy's neighborhood is kind of like his little stomping ground.
Oh, yeah. Him and Clay.
Wow. Okay.
See, people think.
That's what I'm saying. Luke's acting like he doesn't know who Nancy is. Nancy has lived there since probably before Luke was even born.
That Clay lived in the house that's across from Nancy. He didn't. He also lived on Burris. His mother owns 4 different properties over there.
They own several houses, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they own 2 houses. They own one right up on that hill from Nancy. 2 right there together.
It's a mess.
And what about the connection with the Range Rover and MG Motors and Zach? Do you know any of those guys? They seem to be kind of in the mix in the middle of it all.
MG Motors is, I believe, the little buy now, pay here place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I don't trust it. I don't know who owns it or anything like that.
Well, that's where the Range Rover was purchased from.
Oh, I'm not
like
surprised.
just a few days before Luke was the search warrant was served on his home, his mom's house. So he purchased it
And
after
it's
the kidnapping, but shortly before the search warrant.
Yeah. I just want to know who it was that Luke's mother claims that she was the one that wrecked whatever car that is.
That blue one in the driveway?
Right. She supposedly wrecked it. And I think that because she's always been a protector of Luke. I'm not going to sit here and bat out his mother because that's disrespectful. And I'm just not.
Hold on 1 second. I want to hear this. What did she say there?
That wrecked whatever car that is. Who it was that Luke's mother claims that she was the one that wrecked whatever car that is.
That blue one in the driveway?
Right. She supposedly wrecked it. And I think that because she's always been a protector of Luke. I'm not going to sit here.
You can tell I mean, I understand that's her son, right? Like you get it that that's your son and stuff, but she does seem like a protector, like she respectfully enables him, I'll say. The one that was parked, yeah, Luke wrecked a blue, was it a Mustang or something like that? Giggle. It was a blue car that was wrecked. And she says that Mary is claiming that she wrecked it.
And bad about his mother because that's disrespectful and I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, only a mother could love him type of thing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. A mother's love.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't blame her for any of that. If it's true.
Yeah, that's her baby. But it has caused rifts between Matthew.
Yeah, because Matthew's got his shit together. I know he does. So Luke's got, okay, he's got a traffic infraction. Don't worry about that. And he had failure to appear there. That was 2020. 2014, he's got a misdemeanor first degree possession of rug paraphernalia. It was dismissed on motion of court or defendant. That was in Pima County. Criminal weapons and okay. I wonder if that's when they got caught allegedly, like this girl saying, allegedly smoking the dope in the house. Okay. There is 2017. That's a traffic infraction. Um, 2020, another traffic infraction. 2018, grand jury indictment. It says endangerment. He's got this is Luke. Endangerment. It doesn't say what kind of endangerment, though. 2018, unlawful fit from law enforcement, whatever that means, grand jury indictment. 2017, dismissed, failure to carry vehicle register. Okay, it's traffic infraction. 2007, failure to drive on right side of the road. plea judgment. Let's see here. What else do we got? Failure to produce evidence of financial responsibility. It's got a lot of traffic infractions. Drive in one lane, unsafe lane change. What's that? Okay. In 2009, when he was 20, failure to appear second degree. Court dismissal. 2009, rug paraphernalia. Possession of rug paraphernalia. 2010. It's another traffic. Okay. May 27th. (2025), almost a year ago, almost to the day. This is his felony in the fourth degree, felony second degree, narcotic rug violation. That's the one he's getting ready to go to court for, I think. 2017, he pled guilty in the Superior Court. It doesn't say what, to what though. 2012, civilian ticket. 2009, another ticket. Another ticket, another ticket, another ticket, another ticket, another ticket. Another ticket, another ticket. Ooh. 2009, manufacturing methamphetamines under circumstances that cause physical injury to a minor. Manufacturing methamphetamines under circumstances that cause physical injury to a minor. Damn. Cindy. Carlos was attending those fetish balls with Kayla. They have fetish balls now? What's wrong with the world? Fetish balls. Lord. Okay. There is, okay, Arizona Corrections. Let's see here. 2017 rug paraphernalia violation. July 28, 2017. Rug paraphernalia violation. October 16, 2018, criminal damages. October 16, 2018, endangerment. October 16, 2018, endangerment. July 28, 2017, solicitation, dangerous rug violation. 2 counts there. October 16, 2018, flight from law enforcement, inactive. Yeah, okay. Where's that at? March 13, 2019, distracted driving. July 6, 2021, another ticket, speeding kind of thing. This is crazy. Something's weird about this. There's something weird about Luke, in my opinion. He's got, but the Clay guy has even more.
You. So, I mean, it is.
What about Sue Ellen? Where does she fit in all this? Does she know Clay Crouch and all of them? Why is she being so mean to everybody out there? Is she connected to any of these people?
I mean, I'm sure she knows like Luke and him from the neighborhood, but I don't think connected like that. She's just a grouch. The one
That's
that
totally fine.
The one that doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not saying it's yay or nay, but I can tell you the Lauren person, I'm so confused about.
The friend?
If that's what you want to call her.
Yeah, she says that she's Nancy's really good friend.
Yeah, she says that it happened in 2015 when Nancy was with Cameron in North Carolina.
This Ann gal, yeah, I was talking to Daphne about her today.
In 2015 for like 7 months. Yeah, it's just weird.
You've contacted law enforcement about this information or no?
About what information? About
Luke and Clay, and how Clay's kind of like living right there. They've been busted in abandoned homes nearby. Is that maybe that's why they served a search warrant on Luke to begin with? Maybe it's just all this little information that you're talking about.
Well, Luke's about to go back to jail.
Yeah, maybe people turned him in. They're like, oh, well, there's this guy Luke, you might want to look into.
If you look it up, Kayla was busted. She was out on bail. She was already mad. She was out on bail. They revoked her bail. When they revoked her bail, they served a search warrant on Luke's mama's house.
Yeah, she I think she apologized for Chewy. Prison is a perfect alibi, but prisoners can pull out a lot. Well, I mean, I gotta dig some more before I say
because of Kayla.
What's his connection to this whole like gothic scene out there in Tucson? DJ Mojito, Kayla Day, Derek Kalia, the fake.
Now, like the gothic scene, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but I could see Tommaso and Annie being like the gothic style, if you will.
Fake ransom guy from California.
I don't know Derek.
His dad owns it.
From what I understand, he used a text now number, which everybody thinks is untraceable, but it's not untraceable when you register it with your actual email address.
Yeah. Like with Nancy, or not Nancy's, Annie's like dark poetry, and he's in like that dark band, if you will. Something's cooking. It's really weird. It's really weird. I didn't even know these things existed.
That has your name in it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, if there was America's Dumbest Criminals, and I mean, he would be rated number 1, his actual email address. But I have the paperwork on that from Pacer I can send to you too.
Yeah, please send me everything that you can. And when you saw the porch guy, did you think, wow, that could be Luke?
No.
You didn't. You said no. Did anybody pop into your?
It's definitely not Luke. Porch guy is not Luke. I don't know who she is, to be honest with you. She just called in. You guys sent it to me.
No, honestly, no. Well,
this to me.
Not pop into my mind immediately.
Yeah, but to me, and And this is to me like gothic and grungy are to me the same. You know what I mean? Like it's that darkness.
But I'll send. I'm not gonna. There is. So I'll send it to you, and then you can take it and look at it, and then you can.
Justin, please do Annie's poetry again like you did before.
Yeah, I
But
appreciate that.
the reason that Luke didn't pop in my mind is the V in his lip. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm. If you look, he's got a very deep indention in his top lip. The porch
Yeah, his
guy
top
don't.
lip looks like the letter M.
Yes, the porch guy don't.
Hmm.
And that's what and that's not something that you can like really, you know what I mean? Like you can put on a mustache, you can do all that, but you can see the guy's lips clearly. And I'm just, yeah, no.
All right. Yeah. If you can send me everything, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there? The most important thing, if you don't send me anything at all, is just you said you could prove that Matthew was somewhere else other than Tucson.
Yes,
Not that it's any of my business to begin with, but just
oh
for the
no, it
sake
is.
of what we're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean?
Because hopefully when I send it to you, then hopefully if you don't mind and you can put it out there to, you know,
Sure.
after you verify everything, because Matthew is he's a geek. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but he's a geeky type, you know, like
He
you know,
is.
Well, I
yeah.
feel that that's what we're looking for in the porch guy.
No, we're not looking for Matthew. We're not looking for Matthew. I'm telling you, we're not looking for Matthew. Matthew, yes, he's very clean cut and all that, but he's just not that type. Right? Here's one of Annie's poet thingies. We're going to come right back to that. A girl inside a dumpster finds a lockbox unlocked, stowed in an opening, a ring shaped like a 5-prong jack, skips back the long gone bouncing ball as imitation in the stare of somebody in a photograph. Paper faces unfolding figurines. The call is muffled, casual, historic, unwinding in signature. Little stars popping off a name a name in unnamed storage, calling the call of a Cymbeline. That makes no fucking sense. It just makes no sense. These I love poetry, but I don't love this poetry. They just put 3 words together. Baked beans, douche, and a lawn chair. I'm a poet. Pickle thunder tax credit. Glitter waffle court summons. Possum chandelier soup helmet. I'm a poet. It's word vomit. Yes. Yes. Toenail orchestra. Swamp coupon. How about that? That's what I'm saying. Waffle goblin mortgage wig. How about that? Lizard casserole tax fraud. Why do they do this shit? I mean, if that's poetry, I'm sorry. Tater tot felony trumpet. There we go. She has severely dark poems about the body. It's so weird. Now I'm hungry. Oh, man. Hamster volcano purse alarm. Chicken nugget divorce candle. Cactus lasagna panic button. Noodle tractor gossip cloud. You guys love it when I do that. It's a free country. If you want to be a poet, you're a poet. It is. I mean, poetry is all in what you, I guess, identify in. Yes. You felony trumpet. Come on now. That's what we're going to start calling these people. Felony trumpets. That's what we will call them now. Donkey perfume thunder badge. Gravel cupcake. Drama llama. Oh, God. Okay. Poetry. I think it has to rhyme. I mean, people say poetry doesn't have to rhyme, but I like a little rhyme in the poetry personally. I like a little rhyme. To me, it sounds better. Call me Maya Angelou. Hell yes. I love her, by the way. I love Maya Angelou. Pickle chandelier ankle drama. They're basically execute a kidnapping as kids, predicting 2026, in my opinion. Here we go. I have a shirt that says no drama llama. Yeah. It's got to mean something at least. I don't know. Just it just vomit to me. You know what I mean? I don't know. Bubble chandelier ass hat. How about that? Okay, moving on. Let's get back to it. I want to see this right
He's
here.
picking up these flowers. He's just kind of like, doesn't seem like he's at place. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly why I said that's not somebody from Mexico cartel.
I like ankle bracelets.
Yeah, it isn't, in my opinion.
I mean, did he think that the little dude on his shoulder was going to hold him up? But
yeah, he's not going to creep around the front door. You know, they're going to kick that front door in, grab you, and they're going to go.
Have fun.
Right. And to be honest, I don't think they would care if it was daytime or nighttime. Like, they're going to do whatever it is they're going to do. Is what I don't understand is the fact that the blood's coming out. There is none on the little step up to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that I have a Nest camera, anybody that has a Nest.
Yes, Sarah, you need to call your little ankle biter ankle drama from now on. Yes, your new little
camera,
baby.
Even if it does not have a subscription, when you get the notification on your phone,
Tomaso
if you
does
pull
poetry.
down slide it down your phone, you can still see the little thumbnails of the images.
That's like a screenshot, right?
Right. But I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. So 2 weeks before this happened, it started in September, actually. There was a Pima County sheriff. He was being investigated by the Secret Service. And that's, down.
Hold on, what?
A Pima County sheriff.
Okay.
He was being investigated by the Secret Service. And that's, down to the lips, the eyes, the hooded eyelids, everything about him. And Nanos tried so hard to.
I don't think Nanos is covering up. I think he's just
keep
disgraceful.
him on, and he couldn't. And I think he's mad as hell. And let's not forget, it ain't but a hop, skip, and a jump where Nanos' nephew by marriage was arrested for kidnapping the 76-year-old and putting her in the trunk of the car.
That's true.
Whoever.
Hold on. Nanos' nephew by marriage was arrested for kidnapping a 76-year-old. What is going on in Arizona that these people are taking elderly people? Like, statistically, it just doesn't happen.
Year-old and putting her in the trunk of the car.
That's true.
Whoever did this, I feel like they knew
know that too,
what they
Kelly.
could and couldn't get away with.
She went to school with them.
And I think that Nanos needs to step down.
Yeah, you don't have to be complicit in a crime to create the atmosphere that invites it in. You know what I mean?
These people are thunder muppets. They really are.
Well, okay, so let me ask you something. What is your opinion on Carolyn Cosper?
That's the first time I've heard that name.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the day that the first ransom, the one they think is legit, came out.
Mm-hmm. The one that mentions the floodlight and the watch.
Yes, exactly 2.5 hours away in Ashford, Carolyn Cosper, who also just had a pacemaker put in, went missing and nowhere to be found. And my
Muppet.
personal opinion, this is just my opinion, I feel like that Nancy was already gone by the time they did that whole ransom thing. They knew they were going to get asked for proof of life. And if you look at Carolyn and you look at Nancy, it wouldn't be that hard to pass off. And to this
Oh,
day,
I see what you're saying.
nobody knows
So,
where Carolyn's at.
so Nancy passes away. She's valuable, but not as valuable as she would be alive. So
What's Carolyn's last name? Right, Pamela? Justin, stop. I'm laughing so hard. My stomach hurts. What, with the Thunder Muppets? What, the sheriff's nephew tried to stuff an old lady in a trunk? What the heck? Apparently, allegedly. Well, she went to school with them. She went to school with them.
in order to kind of hold on to that value, they kidnap another woman and kind of try to pass her on as a fake.
Correct.
What?
Interesting.
I know it sounds far-fetched.
No, I mean, we're dealing with something
Cosper?
far-fetched here.
Carolyn Cosper?
You know, we need to start thinking outside of the box here.
It's the same day that the ransom came out. Carolyn Cosper, she was last seen at the mailbox. Her cars are all at her home. Nobody has seen her since.
Carolyn what?
Cosper,
C-O-S
P-E-R, from Ashford. And Nanos
Ashford?
just like Ashford, A-S-H.
Let's see here.
Carolyn is 69 years old. She's 5'4", weighs 120 pounds. She has grayish brown hair and green eyes. Carolyn, who recently had heart surgery and walks with a cane, was last seen February 3rd, 2026, picking up her mail in Ash Fork, Arizona. If anyone has any information on Carolyn's whereabouts or you see her, please call 911 or the Coconino County Sheriff's Office at 928-774-4523. Do you know someone that is missing and you want to spread awareness on their case? Email me at SaturdaySearch@gmail.com, or you can find me on any of the socials below, all at Saturday Search. This is Carolyn Legaspi Cosper. She's been missing from Ash Fork, Arizona since February 3rd, 2026. Carolyn is 69 years old. She's 5'4", weighs 120 pounds. She has grayish brown hair and green eyes. Carolyn, who recently...
Let's see here if we can find some more on her. Carolyn. Let's see here. "69 years old, Carolyn Cosper was last seen in Ash Fork, Arizona, February 3rd, 2026. She recently had heart surgery and walks with a cane. On February 3rd, 2026, Carolyn Cosper was last seen picking up mail in Ash Fork, Arizona. She lives in Westwood Ranches, about 20 miles northwest of Ash Fork, and it is believed she was at home on February 4th, 2026. Her vehicle has been accounted for, and it is believed she left on foot. Carolyn recently had heart surgery and walks with a cane. Carolyn has gray-brown hair with green eyes. She stands 5'4" and weighs approximately 120 pounds. Not much out about her. Not much out. There's hardly anything. Hardly anything. Let me see this. One second.
The Coconino County Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding a 69-year-old person, a 69-year-old woman who has not been seen now in 2 weeks. Carolyn Legaspi-Cosper recently had heart surgery, walks with a cane, and was last seen picking up her mail in Ash Fork. She actually lives in a community called Westwood Ranches, 20 miles northwest of Ash Fork. Anyone with information on this should call the Coconino County Sheriff's Office.
Being a
She did.
champion starts with
She
care,
recently,
preparation, and the desire to win.
yeah, she recently had heart surgery. She might have been going through something. That's pretty weird.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Nanos just likes to claim, because this, I mean, you guys, this is not the only.
Yeah, I don't think it's related.
Not uncommon, especially from this area. Nanos just likes to always claim that they walked away. They didn't walk away. I mean, we have like, what, 7 right now that's in the same age frame. They're saying just went for a walk and now they can't find them. No. I'm not buying that.
But as well, I mean, I don't think it's anything related to Nancy, in my opinion, at all. But Arizona and Florida, and California, they all have, people move there because of the weather.
Well, some good information for us to kind of dig into. Anything else you want to put out on the record? Anything we might want to, you think might be relevant?
Probably not.
That's it.
4 hours away.
And I'll send this
Amanda.
over to you in just a minute, and I'll put it all together in a zip file and send it over to you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Thanks for the call. Hopefully I can hear from you again if you think of anything. Okay. Let me know and I'll share the link with you anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Very interesting. I'm going to have to look into some more of this and dig a little bit more. I'm still with Zach, though. I want to see, but I do think that there could be, hold on. Nancy Guthrie neighbor Clay Crouch is a habitual criminal with burglary and kidnapping charges. His lawyer's name is Mark Resnick, who just happens to be Facebook friends with Sheriff Nanos and Walter Nash. This is the Clay guy y'all were asking about. I showed it earlier, but now he has quite the history. Hold on, Sharon just emailed me. 1 second. Seized in Pima County. Hold on, I got something in, guys. What is this, Sharon, that you sent? Hold on. And when was this? There's no date on it, Sharon. When's the date? Oh. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Ballistic carrier with plates. Rifle plates in carrier. DC plug in red and white blue strobe light. Seized in Pima County Narcotics Alliance case. Okay. On August 11, 2022, Marina police officers conducted a traffic stop on the captioned Mazda 6, driven by Luke Daly. Okay. 2022, Mazda 6, Luke Daly. Officers made contact with Daly and, based on their observations, began a DUI investigation. At the same time, a canine officer deployed his canine for an open air sniff around the Mazda. The dog alerted positive for the odor of either methamphetamines, heroin, or Coca-Cola. A search of the vehicle located the captioned firearms, over 950 M30 Finney pills, and over 20 grams of mathematics. METHAMPHETAMINES. The amount of Finney and mathematics are considered more than personal use amounts, indicating rug trafficking. The rugs were in separate bags, but all together in a larger bag. Having considered the state's application in order for going, it is exhibited. Okay. The caption 2010 Mazda 6 VIN number property is within the jurisdiction of the Superior Court, having to seize and held within the state pursuant to ARS 134302 and 134303. Jurisdiction and venue are appropriate in this court. Seized Pima County Narcotics Alliance number. So they got a 2010 Mazda 6, a Glock 2640 cal pistol, Smith & Wesson 9mm, two 9mm arm magazines, 40 caliber arm magazines, 20 9mm rounds of ammo, 6 40 cal rounds of ammo, a firearm holster. Look at there, a firearm holster, and a firearm grip. July 7, 2023. Firearm holster, firearm grip, ballistic carrier with plate, rifle plates in carrier, DC plug-in red and blue strobe lights. Was he trying to pretend to be a cop? Was he trying to pretend to be a cop? A police officer? Why else would he have a DC cigarette lighter, right? Plug in red and blue strobe lights. And look under there. It's got Mary's name. Impersonating a marshal. They said it was suspected DUIs. Why would he have a DC powered red and blue strobe lights? Yes. Yes. But look here at the bottom. Mary Daly. Claimant. Five 7/2025, 3:33:06 p.m. Oh, oops. On February 19th, 2019, Luke will come before the court for sentencing. He will ask that you consider the following in mitigation and sentence him to concurrent mitigation sentences. I might have shown this one, I'm not sure. Mr. Daly was adopted at birth by redacted. Mr. Daly's biological parents were 17 when he was born, and the biological mother struggled with substance abuse while pregnant. Mr. Daly grew up extremely close to both of his adoptive parents. Both redacted and redacted Daly were psychologists and provided Mr. Daly with an excellent childhood, and redacted also adopted Mr. Daly's brother Matt at the time of his birth from different biological parents. Interesting. Mr. Daly continues to have a close relationship with his older brother. I don't know about that. When Mr. Daly was a child, he had 8 or 9 concussions. At only 8 years old, he had to be transported by helicopter off Mr. Lemon due to a bicycle accident. When he was a teenager, Mr. Daly began to race downhill mountain bikes and was in a very serious... These aren't in order. Daly wants to be fully present for his family when he is released. He acknowledges that he cannot do that while he is using. He ultimately hopes to move to Phoenix away from the negative peers in Tucson. Well, that didn't happen. And focus on himself and his family. A letter from his mom is attached. Mr. Daly has the support and motivation necessarily to be successful once he is released from prison. He has already begun to do work that he needs. For that reason, stated above, he asked that you sentence him to concurrent mitigated sentences. Interesting. Pima County Counter Narcotic Alliance case. DC plug-in rug sterlites. That's just crazy to me. The conduct giving rise to forfeiture, I can't say it, of the defendant's property took place in a whole or part of Pima County, Arizona. The state is seeking in rem to forfeit of the defendant's property for one or more of the following reasons: it was used or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of an offense giving rise to forfeit under Arizona law. Who rides around in a Mazda with police lights? Come on now. Mary must not believe in tough love. It seems like she enables him. There's a body. There's a full body pic in a Parade article. He did, and all I can say is, holy crap. I'm telling you, Lisa. I'm telling you. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. 1 second. One second, y'all. Yeah, I've seen that one. Okay. All right. Let me thank you guys before I go. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Let me thank Ann Lovely Brian. Thank you so much for the 400 jewels, my friend. Really thank you. And thank you, Ellen, for the 10 jewels, my darling. Appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much. I know, like that's pretty ballsy to impersonate like a marshal. You know what I mean? PGH, thank you so much for the 40 jewels, my love. Appreciate you, the hearts and the flowers. Thank you, love. And Donna, thank you so much for the 20 hearts. Appreciate you, my dear. Thank you so much. And Becca, thank you so much for the 200 jewels, my love. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Leslie, always keeping it real. Thank you so much for the 10 jewels, my dear. The thumbs up. Appreciate you very much, hon. Thank you so much. NS Hippie, thank you so much for the 200 jewels, my love. The sunshine. Sunshine. Thank you so much, dear. Appreciate you. And PTH, thank you again for the 30 jewels. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you, my dear. Yeah, I really think Sassy, I've got to download it and put it into content before I can play it because it's sent through an email, my dear. But I'll get to it, I promise. Thank you for that. It's very cute. I can see it from my end, but I got to put it like into content before I do it. Those kids filled a deep-seated need to be needed, not a healthy parent-child avenue. Did no one any favors by hiding the truth, the consequences. Yeah, I feel like she enabled. I didn't even get to half of my stuff tonight that we were going to talk about. So I guess we'll get to some of it tomorrow, and whatever I find out tonight, we'll see. I'll be digging tonight and tomorrow. Happy Friday, everyone, and happy Victoria Day to our friends in Canada and the UK if you celebrate it. Thank you so much. Geeti, thank you so much. All right, everyone. See you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow. Good night and God bless. Thank you.